Hey friends, over 60% of you are listening to me right now on an Apple product. iPhone, iPad, iTunes. I need your help. The truth is, Apple will make this podcast more discoverable to new listeners the more reviews it has. So I'm here asking you to take a moment and leave a review. If you've gained any value from this podcast, the greatest thing you can do for it, besides spreading the word and telling friends, is leaving a review. It's real simple. If you're on your phone, head over to my podcast page within the Apple Podcast app and leave a review. Or if you're on a computer, you can head over to my podcast page within the iTunes app. That's it. That's all I ask. And if you have other podcasts that you love, do them a favor and do the same for them. It'll make their day. Now let's get this podcast started already. How's your night going?
It's going good.
Well, that's good.
Going good. Yeah. How about you?
Not too bad. Went and took my car to get an alignment, and then I visited my mother briefly, and then I came home, and that was pretty much my day.
Oh, awesome.
Yeah, not too shabby.
Yeah, we had dentist appointments and stuff, so we were kind of running around.
Ooh, dentist. I don't like that.
Yeah, I don't either. It was for the kids this time, luckily.
Yeah. So I'm trying to think back, Instagram's a wild place. How did we link up?
I found your podcast and I messaged you and let you know that I really liked it. And then we kind of talked from there. And then I went and listened to all of them. I went and caught myself up.
Every last one of them.
There are some in the very beginning that I didn't listen to, like the wrestling and stuff like that. But every one of your weight loss ones, I have listened to.
Those early ones are pretty brutal.
I actually used to watch wrestling. I haven't watched it in forever, but my ex-husband was into it, and yeah, I got really into it, into the stories and everything. Yeah, it was very interesting. Yeah,
I had a love-hate relationship with it, honestly. It was kind of like, for years I watched it. And, I used to do like a podcast about it, but like in the later years, it just kind of got to the point where it was just kind of, I kind of got burned out on it. But now, actually right now is kind of a good time to be in it because it's kind of getting exciting again. But I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what happens.
Yeah.
So
yeah, I haven't followed it in so long.
Yeah. Well, you get away from it long enough, and there's so much that goes by, you won't even have a chance to catch up.
Yeah, I'm talking about like Triple H, China.
Like 20 years ago.
Yeah, it's been a long time.
Damn, yeah, that was when it was really exciting anyway. I mean, that was the peak.
It was very exciting.
Yeah, they fell off the map pretty hard for a while, and they're starting to figure it out again. Though I have faith.
Yeah.
So you just stumbled upon the podcast.
I'm trying to remember. It might have been Crystal that told me about it.
Oh, okay.
Now that I think about it, I think she had posted, I'm listening to this podcast. Oh, actually, I first saw you on Fat Girl Fed when you did Fat Girl Fed Ups, when you did hers. But I just saw like when you had met her and all that.
Oh, okay.
And then so I had seen your name and I thought, okay, maybe I should listen to this podcast. Well, then Crystal told me she went and listened to your podcast, and then her and I talked about you, and then I went and listened to them and fell in love with them, and then I messaged you.
I hear this a lot. It's like people, they will hear one and somehow it just leads into like binging a bunch of them. And
yes.
That's fascinating to me.
Yes, I definitely binged.
No, I appreciate that. Believe me, I guess when you put them out, you don't really expect that to happen. And you're just kind of like, well, you're kind of in the moment and you're just putting them out, and to hear that kind of stuff just blows my mind.
Oh, I bet.
What was it about it that kind of grabbed your? Was there something unique about? I'm fascinated. This is almost like a survey just for a second. I'm fascinated. Like, what was there something unique about it, or you just like the general premise, or what was it about the show?
Well, first of all, you have like a radio entertainment voice.
Oh, that's all processing right there.
You're you're very easy to listen to.
Well,
But the
thank you.
fact that, well, first of all, that you shared your story. I just love all these weight loss stories. I love them. They're all different. They're unique. I just love it. And the fact that you interview people, so you're in your own journey, but then you're interviewing people that are in their journey as well. I thought that was very interesting.
Yeah, I figure for me, it's like, when it comes to talking to others, I feel like, to listen to my story is cool. And I mean, that's fine. But it's like, if somebody's going to listen to that, I want them to hear like different walks. Cause that's the one thing about weight loss. So we get right into it. Everybody walks a different path. We're all kind of, we have very similar goals in many aspects. I mean, not word for word exactly the same goals, but we have, generally the same path that we're going down, and but we have different ways of getting there. And I think that that's a story in itself that has to be told. So, for me to come on, it's like one way. And that's the thing with a lot of the salespeople. It's like they have their one way and they're like just ramming it down your throat. And from my perspective, I'm like, let's hear from everybody.
Right.
Yeah.
I love it. And you've got people on there that have, lost 200 pounds. And then you've got people on there that have not quite hit 100. You've got all these different varieties of people. So it's very interesting.
And I think for me, it's also to prove a point to people. It's like, no matter where you're at in your journey, I think all this information can be very helpful. And you just take it and you process it and formulate your own. I always say, formulate your own plan, but it's just like, you just take in the information and find one of these that sounds close to what you're into, or, you find something that works best for you and you run with it. And I think that's ultimately a winner.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
So you have, you're almost at 100, right?
I'm almost at 80.
Almost at, okay. Well, I mean, that's almost at 100.
Yeah. Well, yeah. I'm getting there. So I hit a plateau for a little while. But I think I really figured out what was going on, and I think I'm pulled myself out of it. These last couple weeks, I've been more into my tracking, and I think a lot of it now that I'm seeing is I would take bites here and there and not actually, count them. I wasn't counting, all that in between. I was counting my meals, and I think, you kind of lose track that way, thinking, oh, it's just a bite. It's just a few calories, whatever. But it's not, because that shit adds up. Or I'm sorry.
No, you're fine. You're fine. If you didn't do it, I was probably going to do it.
All right.
No, you're right. You're right. I'm guilty of this even to this day. It's like, maybe I'm making dinner and, I got, making the green beans or the mashed potatoes, and it's like, well, I'm stirring it up. Let me just let's take a little bite here, take an extra little bite there. It happens, we're all human. I know that when I worked at McDonald's for 4 months back, this will be the 20th year coming up in I think April. I was trained as a cook about a month or so in, and I was popping stuff all day long. Chicken nuggets, hamburger patties. Back then, 20 years ago, they had the supersize. So, supersized chocolate milkshakes all day long. I was a maniac.
Oh yeah. It's right there when it's so accessible. You don't even think about it.
50 pounds in 4 months.
Wow.
By the time I left, because I quit, it was just a horrible damn job. By the time I quit, I mean, I had like rips in my pants at that point because my body was just getting bigger, and I had no concept of any of this. I was just kind of just going through the motions, honestly.
Yeah.
So,
Wow.
I mean, for you though, I mean, you've heard enough of these by now. How does all this start? Did the weight gain come later in your life? Were you always kind of on the bigger side? I know for me, I pretty much could not lay off the damn sweets even back at childhood, so I was kind of starting to
Hmm.
balloon up. What was your
Yeah.
deal?
So up until, I guess I've always been, if you want to say thick, um, I've always had like the thick thighs. I've been thick, but not, I'm very short. I'm 5'2", so I'm short. But I've always been, I guess, solid. I played soccer, I played tennis, so I was more active when I was younger.
Yeah.
Um, I got pregnant at 17, and with that pregnancy, I gained 90 pounds.
Mm.
So back then, he's 18 now. So 18 years ago, I was on Medicaid. I was 17 years old. I had no idea what it was like or what I was supposed to do, being pregnant. Um, so if I was hungry, I ate. I guess if I wasn't hungry, I ate. I'm sure there was plenty of that too. But being pregnant, you kind of expect to gain weight. You expect, your body to change, things like that. And being on Medicaid, I had to go to like a clinic. It wasn't necessary. I didn't see the same doctor every time. I didn't even see a doctor every time. I saw a nurse practitioner most times and just a nurse the other times. So there was no talk or anything of you're gaining too much weight. You should stay away from this, stay away from that. Other than things that I read, I I had no idea. And so
Right.
because I wasn't having like regular visits and whatnot, nobody ever, I never had a doctor there to tell me, what to look for and how to be careful and whatnot. So I think after this, so after he was born, which was a very rough pregnancy, delivery, we both almost died at delivery. This is very, very scary. Um, I actually lost quite a bit after he was born. I was carrying a lot of water weight. I had preeclampsia, so um, was dealing with all that. And once he was born, I dropped quite a bit of it. But then I don't know. I was already heavier after that point, and then I had another one 5 years later. Then I had another one 5 years later. So every 5 years, I was having a baby. But I think in between times, I dealt with um, I dealt with a lot of stress, depression, things like that I never really took care of.
Mm.
So I actually, in 2014, I fell pretty hard into depression. About a year after I got with my wife, I I don't know, things changed, and I worked full time. I loved my job. I was financially stable. I, took care of my kids, did what I was supposed to do. Um, Met my wife. We were together for about a year and a half, I guess, and then depression just hit me so hard. I started wanting to sleep all day. All I did was eat and sleep, so there was no activity going on whatsoever. And that lasted for about 3.5 years.
Wow. So what do you think contributed to the depression?
Um, I had things happen when I was a child that I never really dealt with, never told anybody about. So I never, you know, I guess they never came out of my mouth, the stuff that I was just dealing with and keeping to myself while trying to be a parent and try to be a wife and try to work, and that load that I had. Why it unloaded, years later is just beyond me. But
Well, no, I get it because I would say, like, obviously, I think we're all human. We mostly have had, at some points, at least something traumatic go on, and we definitely don't
yeah,
have to get, detail. But I will say, like, from my end of it, like, I know that, anything in the past, sometimes it just comes in your mind, and you think about it, and you're like, oh God, it just brings you back to this place that you just never thought you would
oh yeah,
be in again.
oh yeah. And I dealt with that a lot as being a mom because, there were things that happened to me as a child that, obviously my parents didn't know about it. They would have done something about it, but, and I didn't say anything. But I think about that every time my kid is, one of my kids is going through something or something. That's the first thing that my mind jumps to till this day is, oh my gosh, something happened. What's going on? What are they not telling me? Why are they keeping this secret? Things like that.
Mm-hmm.
Because so it's it's like a constant trigger. I worry all the time about them, and but it's a constant trigger. And I think so during that time, so in 2016, I was actually admitted to the hospital for about 8 days.
Mm-hmm.
I was suicidal, self-harming, things like that. Just was on different medications. I couldn't get my anxiety under control, severe panic attacks, things of that nature. And it just got to where it was just too much. I just felt like I couldn't deal. I became suicidal. And then once I told my doctor about it, I ended up getting admitted, which to me at the time was just, I went willingly, but it was the toughest thing that I've ever done in my life, to be away from my kids for that long, to be away from my wife, to, feel like I'm missing out on everything. Just to be away from them, period, was really hard. But I think it's the best thing I have ever done for myself. Aside from this weight loss journey, it's the best thing I've ever done for myself.
No, I could imagine just some time to, get away, even though you miss everybody, getting that time for you. And I think that's so key. It's like, even a weight loss, you need to find that balance between being around the ones you love and getting time for just you. There has to be a balance somewhere in there. And so I could understand how that would definitely be very, beneficial. Obviously we're going to miss our families, but getting that time to yourself is super critical.
Yeah. And it was intense therapy. So it was pretty active. I mean, they did things like depression focused yoga, things like that. It was just, so, doing that, there was always group therapy. There was always one-on-one therapy. I mean, you're constantly doing something, and it actually made me face the things that I never really talked about before. It made me face those things. And so I guess, letting them out, sharing them, it was a huge weight lifted off my shoulders, just huge. So when I came back home, when I got out of the hospital and I came back home, I started to apply the, trying to have time by myself, trying to, maybe journal or work on the things that I needed to work on outside of there. But I mean, I think being there too gave them the opportunity to find which medications I needed, because you're there, they're watching you 24/7. So, it just made a huge difference. It wasn't like, let's try this medicine and let's see for a couple months how you feel, come back and see me. And, that is hard, because trying different things and seeing if they work for you, because they don't work for everybody, different things work for different people. So, that was difficult in itself. So I think going there was, it made a huge difference.
Definitely. When does the weight loss part of it come in?
So I didn't have one. I know you always ask everybody too, what's your like aha moment? Like,
yeah.
And I don't have one. I didn't, it's not like I saw a picture. It's not like I just had a feeling. I just felt I need to do something. I can't live this way anymore. I'm uncomfortable. My knee hurts. My feet hurt. I mean, I was constantly in pain. In fact, right before I went into the hospital, I had knee surgery because they thought I had a torn meniscus.
Right.
But when they got in there to actually fix the knee, I did not have a torn meniscus, but I was bone on bone.
Oh,
so
yeah.
They went and drilled holes in my femur to cause a cushion and all that good stuff. So, God, that was hard to recover from, being heavy. And so after that, I guess in probably November of 2017, I don't know, I just got a wild hair and was like, I can do this. I'm going to do this. And this time is going to be different. It's not going to be a couple weeks. It's not going to be a couple months. I'm actually going to do it. And So without telling anybody, including my wife, I just kind of started watching my portions.
Yeah.
Um, just kind of like, if I do this low key, maybe I don't have to prove myself to anybody or, anything like that. It's not out there. I'm just going to try this on my own and see how it works. So I started just cutting down my portions and just basically watching what I was eating. I didn't track anything. I didn't do anything like that. That's all I did was cut portions. And then I guess about a month into it, I started using my Fitbit, and had one for a while. I was just sitting there collecting dust. And so I put it on one day and was like, okay, I changed my settings. I think it defaults at like 10,000 steps or something like that. I changed it to 6,000. And man, all I did was track my steps for a couple days, and I realized how little activity there was no, I mean, it wasn't even 2,000, not even 2,000 steps, and that was my everyday. So that really, and then I'm sitting here thinking, wow, this thing says 10,000. You're supposed to have 10,000 steps. Like I'm doing nothing here. Um, so then I lowered it to 6,000 and I started working on that. And I didn't set any time aside to do it. I started just making it fit into what I was doing. We have 2 dogs. We took the dogs out to the dog park all the time. So when the dogs played, we would walk the perimeter and get our steps. My wife and I, she started doing it with me. Started getting our steps that way. So I wasn't taking any time out. I wasn't, doing anything special. I just utilized my time differently.
I like what you said about how you kind of just started off and you didn't really tell anybody. Because I see a lot where people come out and say, all right, this is day one of my journey. Like they put everything out there. And I always tell, I always say, yeah, document the journey, take all the pictures and all that. But there's something to be said for kind of starting without saying a word. Because once you tell everybody, like you get the people that come out of the woodwork, they want to tell you how to do it and all that. And that stuff drives me nuts sometimes.
Yeah. And I think they're expecting everything and I have to, prove myself to everybody. Like I didn't want to have to do that at that time.
Yeah, no, I actually like that approach. But then the other coin of it too is like, if you go out there and you put it all out there in day one and then you start falling apart, then you start feeling the need to, explain everything and apologize to people, and all that stuff. And it's just like, nah, you don't, there's gonna be a lot of ups and downs in this journey. You don't have to apologize for every move you make. I'll tell you what. So,
yeah. So, and then I started getting my steps. I got up to 10,000. I moved it up to 12,000, and I mean, I was determined to get those steps. I became like obsessed with it. If I was at 10,000 steps or something like that, 11,000, and I knew I could get that extra 1,000 steps, I would walk around my house. Like I would just make laps in the living room or wherever I needed to while I was getting stuff done. I was like, I'm going to do this. I'm not going to mess around with it. I'm going to get it done. And so I became very serious about that. And then I decided, okay, I'm tired of walking. Let's do something different. But in March, I believe, or May, I think it's March, started counting calories. And that's when the weight really started coming off. So I lost about 15 to 20 pounds before I put it out there that I was, doing this. And, yeah. So, and then once my wife started joining me, it became easier. It wasn't just me. It wasn't the secret I was holding in. She knew it. And so it was out there at that point. But then once I started counting the calories, it just really started dropping after that it was a total game changer.
Yeah. And I also like, the whole thing about, just starting to walk and all that. I mean, you've listened, it's just like, I encourage anybody that, they're confused looking where to start. You don't have to go, for lack of a better term, balls to the wall and go crazy, week one, start out slow. So many people are just, man, I say this so much, it feels like a broken record, but it needs to be said. So many people are in a damn hurry. You gotta start slow, Yeah.
Yeah. I think, and I really think that that's been one of the factors to me being successful this time is that I did start slow. I didn't try to push myself. I didn't go get a gym membership knowing that I wasn't going to go, which I've done that in the past. I've had several gym memberships that I've actually paid for a whole year and not gone to them once. So I've done that.
Me too.
And so, yeah. So then we went and we got a membership at a gym called Fitness Connection.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to say it's local. It is local. It started here. But at first I just like did the treadmill, was still counting steps. So at first when we got the membership, I was being really hard on myself and I was like, well, I've got to get my steps, but I've also got to work out. So I was doing both of them. And then I realized, if I'm focusing this hard in the gym and I'm doing what I need to do, I don't have to stress about getting these steps in. So I finally let up on myself after a while, but I was pretty hard on myself and it was really getting to me. So I had to let off with that. And once I did that and just started focusing on, counting the calories and going to the gym, I started seeing, huge differences, and sometimes the scale wouldn't move, sometimes it would, but I was seeing changes. So the scale wasn't even, and that's the thing too, I used to always be obsessed with the scale. This time I was not. I told myself, look, you've done good. You've lost 20 pounds. Just keep doing what you're doing. It'll fall into place. But man, that's hard.
It is. No, it really is, and you listen to Daryl's podcast, you listen to mine, we talk so much about this scale and, how it's just one piece of the story and it's not the whole story, but it's like, I also realize I also realize how much people look into it and look at it as the end all be all, the most important thing. And no matter what, I think Daryl or I say, people are there's gonna be certain people that are gonna just obsess over that thing no matter what. And it's just really, it is not the whole story. It is part of the story, but it's not the whole story. Cause I've had many times, where I can see that my body shape is changing, but maybe the poundage is not quite as dramatic as the measurements.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And like I told Daryl, I when I hit this plateau, I couldn't, I said, if there were other things changing, I wouldn't worry about the scale. But at this point, it wasn't just the scale that wasn't moving. I wasn't seeing any change. I wasn't feeling different.
Right.
Where, before I was like, oh man, I feel good. This was kind of like I felt stuck and I felt, I was just stagnant. I felt heavy. Whereas even though before, I guess because I was eating better and there wasn't all the sweets around during the holidays and all that stuff.
Yeah.
I felt lighter. You just have some days you just have this light feeling, I guess. I was having a lot of those. And during this plateau time, I just felt heavy.
Yeah. There are those other days where you really just feel like a bloated mess.
Yes.
It drives me crazy, Leah, because sometimes I'll have a day where, I try to get my gallon of water in and most days it's fine, but I guess some days I get a little extra anxious and maybe like in the early half of the day, I drink it a little too faster, like not kill it early in the day, but like put a serious dent in it. And by midday towards the end of the day, I just feel like a bloated, disgusting mess.
Yes. And I think that's why I struggle with water, because when I drink the water, I feel heavy. I just feel like, and I feel like I can just feel it sloshing around. Like I had so much of it that I'm like, okay, I don't know if I can do this. But if I spread it out throughout the day, I do much better. And we all know I'm not very good with water, but I'm getting there.
And mentally too, when you feel like a mess, it's like, you feel this like bloated, messy feeling, and then that like messes with your mind too. Cause Like I know I've done it even now, you know, when I have a bloated day, there's be times where I'm just sitting around, it's like, damn, you fat piece of shit, you know? Like I try not to think that way because I try to be as positive as I can, but there are just some days where the bloat is just strong, you know, too much water too quick. And I gotta back off of it.
Yeah. And see, I was having a lot of days like that during this plateau, which I don't think that helps, obviously, because, you know, when you're having that poor mental day, it's kind of like, then by the time I get to the gym, I'm just not feeling it. So I'm doing
Oh yeah.
kind of, you know, I'm doing it, but I'm not pushing myself like I normally would. And so this went on for about 3 months. And I mean, I feel like I'm out of it now,
Yeah.
thankfully, because I just could not wait. But I mean, I think a lot of it was what I was doing. I think I just maybe I wasn't being honest with myself, you know, because I wasn't tracking everything. I wasn't, you know, I thought, okay, well, I've lost this much. I can eyeball my calories. I don't have to track them, but I'm just not at that point yet. Yeah, I guess I thought I was. I'm not at that point.
Yeah, it just takes time, you know. I mean, I still log through my Fitness Pal even just to, you know, have some sort of a number and look at, you know, how much I'm putting in my body every day and keep track of it. And then I've got my Apple Watch, and then it tracks all the workouts. And then they actually, I don't know if it does this with the Fitbit or not. I don't know. Do you use my Fitness Pal?
I do. I use my Fitness Pal, and I have a Samsung watch now.
Oh, okay, cool. So like the Samsung or the Fitbit, that would also like integrate with your MyFitnessPal and show what you worked out and all that.
Yeah, yeah.
Oh, good. Yeah, I was wondering how that works. You know us close-minded Apple fanboys. You know, we have our own little ecosystem. That's what people say. I'm not actually like I mean, I'm a fan of it, but I'm not like screw everything else that isn't Apple or you know. But yeah, I was always wondering how that worked. You know, if it worked the same way. But it's great, you know, because you can kind of just get a nice little snapshot, you know, of. Here's what I ate. Here's what I worked off, you know, at the gym. And then you kind of know where you're at by the end of the day.
Yeah, yeah. And so since I've been back doing that, I've lost. And so that, you know, I feel better now, but, and I physically feel better now. I don't have that heavy feeling that I was having. So, that's how I know there's been a change these last couple of weeks, and I'm feeling better with that. So hopefully we'll have a good loss this week, and then it'll put me out of my plateau, hopefully.
That's good. Now, whatever your last weigh in was that still part of the plateau, or had you gone down at all, or?
Well, I had gone down. Well, so this is what I was doing during this plateau. I'd gain 4 pounds. I'd lose 4 pounds.
Oh, okay, yeah.
So I'm messing around with these same 4 pounds that just don't want to go away. So then there's weeks that I just stayed exactly the same. So I wasn't really gaining, but I guess I was. I was playing with those 4 pounds. So, but so this last week when I weighed, I lost 3.6 pounds. The week before that, I had gained 3. So I had a 0.6 loss. So, and then I weighed myself today, which I do not normally do. I only do Mondays, but right. I just was kind of feeling light today. So I weighed myself and I've lost 2 pounds since Monday. So I'm feeling good about this week.
Yeah, there you go. You're on the right track.
Yeah.
So what is the ultimate, I mean, is 100 the ultimate goal for you? You still have more beyond that, or where are you trying to be?
No, I still have about 80 more pounds to go.
Oh, okay.
So yeah. Yeah, that's just, I don't know. I kind of don't really have a goal weight because I don't feel like it's a weight that I need to get to. I just want to be healthy. I want to feel better.
Yeah.
Of course I want to look better, but to me, it's all about feeling better and being healthy on the inside, and all the other stuff's just a plus. I also went plant-based in October. I went plant-based or vegan. I don't want to say I live a vegan lifestyle, which this will probably piss a few people off, but I am plant-based for health. Everything else is just an extra benefit. I am not one of those, let me push the animal rights into your face. I'm not, I don't agree with that. So sometimes when you say, oh, well, I'm vegan, you get this look like, oh.
Oh yeah, they think you're like snooty or something.
Yeah, I'm like, okay, I eat plant-based. About that. We'll just call it that.
Yeah, you're brave. I got to tell you that. I just, there are things that I've given up, but I just don't know that I can give up my meats. I just don't. For me personally, I don't know that that's one challenge. I don't know if I'm going to win.
Yeah. Well, I was vegetarian. I've been vegetarian for over a year now. So I did incorporate meat back in because I started worrying about protein, even though, and then once I did my research and realized you can get just as much protein in broccoli as you can a steak or chicken or whatever it is.
Right.
And, there's this whole thing about vegans and not getting their protein in and whatever. I get my protein in. I do very well with that because I pay attention to it in my Fitness Pal. At first, I was just like, well, I'm just not going to eat meat. But it was easier for me to give up. I was not into it as much as other people. So I've never really liked the taste of it. The texture, I could just go without it. So I didn't like cooking it because I don't like seeing it raw.
Yeah.
I guess I don't like touching it raw and the blood and all. I'm just like, I don't need all that. But, I would still cook like lean meats for the family because they weren't vegetarian. They loved their meat, the chicken and but I would switch it out for, like ground turkey, like lean ground turkey instead of beef. And so that's what I was giving them instead. And I would just eat the sides or, make some without the meat in it, whatever it was. But yeah, I incorporated it in like February of last year and I did it for like a week and I was like, no, I took this out of my diet for a reason. I'm going to keep it out. And so I haven't since February of 2018. I haven't had any meat at all.
That's incredible. Is anybody else in the family joining you on that, or are you kind of riding solo on that?
So vegan wise, I ride solo.
Yeah.
They will all eat like the meat substitutions.
Mm-hmm.
I think the only thing that we have in our house that's meat is these breakfast sandwiches that they all eat. Well, my wife and the boys eat. My little girl, she's kind of following in my footsteps a little bit, but she'll still have like cheese and stuff.
Yeah.
But she's not a big meat eater. She goes through phases. Well, she's only 9, so she goes through phases where she'll eat a little bit of meat and then she's like, oh, I don't want any. And so she's kind of followed me. She even told me the other day, I think I might be becoming vegan. I said, well, that's okay. But so they like the meat substitutes. There's one cheese substitute we found, the Follow Your Heart cheese. That's the only one that melts. It's really good. All the other ones, yeah, they can go. I don't know, like I just can't get into the vegan cheese. I just cannot.
Let me ask you this, because I'll tell you, you probably have heard this before, but I tend to be a very picky eater. Is there stuff like on the vegan food where you could do like a blind taste test and not tell the difference between the real and the really?
Oh yeah. There's the Gardein brand.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you've tried any of the stuff. They're vegan. They have meatballs. They even have a fish fillet. It's called fishless fillets or something like that. They have funny little things to them. But even like the beefless, it's like beefless meat or whatever. It's like the grounds. Trader Joe's has an amazing ground, beef, I guess you could say. And I put that in chili. We make tacos with it. I've had friends over and I didn't tell them. They had no idea.
They thought they were eating straight up meat.
Oh yeah.
No kidding.
I have friends they're just like, oh no, I have to have my meat. And I'm like, okay, we'll see. But yeah, they can't tell.
I like that. Okay, we'll see. No, that's what I wonder. Like, I've been joking around with Daryl and Arash about when I go up to Cincinnati, we got to eat some White Castle. And so they have a burger called the Impossible Burger. That's one of these like meatless burgers. Yep. And I've not had it, but the reviews on it are fairly strong that, while it doesn't taste exactly like a White Castle burger that people know and love, it is to the point where you can't tell the difference as far as meat versus non-meat.
The Impossible Burger is the best
Oh, you've had it.
Ever had. I haven't had it from White Castle, but I've had the Impossible Patty. A couple places actually. There's I don't know if y'all have Hop Dotty over there.
No.
It's called Hop Dotty. It's a burger place, but they have the Impossible Burger. That's like the only place over close to me that serves the Impossible Burger. So if I'm feeling like one, that's where we'll go. And it is so good, you cannot tell the difference.
Really? I'm fascinated though. Like when you bite into, what you think is a hamburger and you're just chewing into all this meat, but it's not meat. Like I don't know how they I'm fascinated by this.
Oh, I am. I'm just like, how do they do this? Like, I want to know how to do this. I want to learn this so I can do it at home.
Yeah.
But the Impossible Burger is actually supposed to go on shelves for sale sometime this year, probably at a Whole Foods or something like that. But, yeah, it's one of those. It's known. There's also the Beyond Meat. You'll probably see that at some places too. But it's funny you mentioned White Castle. I've never had real White Castle, but I have had the frozen ones, and I used to love them. The little bitty onions that they have on there and the cheese, I loved them. Well, they just came out with, I don't know how long it's been out. I just found them.
Right.
They have veggie sliders, and I bought those the other day and had them for lunch, and they were really good.
White Castle branded?
Mm-hmm, yeah.
Oh, okay, great. All right.
Yeah, they were good. They're the little sliders. They had veggie ones, and then they had black bean patty ones, and that's the one I got was the black bean patty, and they were good.
You got to get you some real. Well, now you're down in Texas, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. I don't think they have White Castle in Texas, although y'all have Whataburger, and I do like that.
Oh my gosh, nothing compares to Whataburger.
Do they have some sort of a vegan substitute there? Or no? The last time I had Whataburger was 2016, a year before I started, and Gary was just going ham on some damn hamburgers.
Yeah, their burgers are amazing. Not yet, no, but I have seen things online that there's this company called Planted, and I don't know if it's just in Austin, but they try to get companies that do not normally sell like a vegan meatless patty or vegetarian patty in their menu, but they try to get them to add it for a month, and then they get them to add it for a month, see how it sells, and then a lot of times they end up staying.
Right.
It sells so well, they just end up keeping it on their menu. And I saw an article the other day that they were working on Whataburger, so I guess we'll see what happens. But
I'm surprised McDonald's hasn't done it yet.
Oh, me too. Oh, I don't know if you saw, but Taco Bell now has, I don't know if they've already released it, but they are going to release like a vegan menu.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know. I guess we'll see how that goes. But there's all kinds of, so this is how I started doing the vegan thing anyways. I just took things that I really liked and I just tried to veganize them, I guess you could say.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we still eat pizza. I have cheeseless pizza, but we still eat pizza. We have burgers. We just get the veggie patties. We have tacos. We have tacos once a week because we all love them. I did the other day, I was craving fajita, like just the whole onion and bell pepper. I was just craving it. So I sauteed that up, and then I got some of the Beyond the Meat chicken and did that for them, and they had it. I like just the peppers, so I'm good with that. But that and all the toppings on it, of course.
Of course, yes.
but yeah, I made them did it just in the peppers and all that stuff, but sauteed it with the same seasonings you would use normally. It comes out really good. I like it. And every time we serve somebody, we have friends over and they always enjoy it. So
Yeah, I'll tell you. I'll tell you what. The day McDonald's comes out with the like an Impossible Burger or Beyond the Meat or whatever, the day they do that is the day I'll go back and visit them. Maybe I'll try it then because I've been out of
Yeah.
there for 2 years now, and I had no plan to go back. Like I have not had a craving or thought about it. The only thing I missed from them was the Big Mac sauce. Like I like that sauce, but if they come out with a burger.
Have you made the sauce on your own?
I did it once.
Yeah.
I was just too
Was
lazy.
it the same?
It was very close. It was very close. I was just too lazy to do it again. Here's the problem. I used to watch, and I can still watch them now without getting too much food cravings. But on YouTube, there was these guys, Epic Mealtime. I'm sure you've come across them at least one point in your life, but they make these just crazy concoctions, like gigantic food, like 30,000 calorie dishes, and just.
Oh, wow.
And then they're like 10 guys cut it up and they eat it. But they had like a short video, like here's how to make mac sauce, and it was like ketchup and mayonnaise and relish and finely little chopped up onions, and they're like, don't just eat it right here. Put it in the fridge. You got to let it kind of meld together for like a half an hour. And then when I did that, I was like, wow, they're actually onto something here.
Mm-hmm.
So that's how you do it. It's ketchup, mayonnaise, relish, and very thinly diced onions, and you got yourself some mac sauce.
Oh, okay. I don't know. Is that easy? But I see. Do you eat the? I see a lot of keto people eating the Big Mac salad. So they're making the Big Mac sauce, but they're eating it. They get a patty, I guess. They're making it at home. They put it on a lettuce, but they have the patties and then the Big Mac sauce as their like dressing, and they put pickles in there and onions. And so it's just like having a Big Mac, but it's a salad because they don't eat the bread. And so it's supposed to be a keto friendly meal. I don't know a whole lot about keto. It confuses the hell out of me. So all the macros and all, oh my gosh, it confuses me.
Yeah, I steer clear. I feel like if I screwed up one meal, the quote unquote keto police would come and arrest me.
That's the same thing with vegans, though. I mean, like sometimes I get nervous. I'm like, I don't not even want to put this vegan hashtag on my post because there's so many out there that are like, you can't call yourself vegan if you. Okay, so I'm sure you've seen those Built bars that are out there.
Yeah.
That everybody. Okay, I love those things. Love them, but they're not vegan friendly. But you can't beat a protein bar for 150 calories that tastes just like a candy bar.
That's true.
And I'm telling you, if you have not tried one, oh my gosh, you've got to. They're so good. But so I will allow myself to have that. I see, we just ran out of them recently, but they were here. I knew they were here, so I'm tempted. But I would have one every other day or something like that. It's 110 calories, and it like if I wanted something sweet, if you really wanted something sweet, that definitely helps. I mean, they're rich. They're very good.
I've been trying to get myself out of the sweets business for a couple of weeks now. Ever since I did that challenge about not having chocolate, I was kind of like, well, technically I could have other sweets here and there that are not chocolate, but.
Oh yeah, I forgot you gave that up.
Yeah, so I feel like I'm just trying to consciously or subconsciously not have a lot of sweets. Period, because I lost 100 pounds, and I've still allowed myself to have a little bit here and there. It's not like I was every day, but I've been like slowly but surely the wife would be like, hey, you want this? It doesn't have chocolate. I'm like. I'm all right. I'm good. And probably part of it is all this damn water I'm drinking too, because that's got me feeling pretty damn full.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, I mean that's that water will do wonders as far as like like during the day, I think is the roughest, like for me at work, like I'll be, I'll have my oatmeal for breakfast. I do like apple and cinnamon oatmeal, 2 bags with a 1 tablespoon of peanut butter, which helps thicken it up and it keeps me from getting hungry in the middle of the day. But once in a while, we're all human. We have, we have like these cravings and whatnot. So, I just drink some extra water to try to like not be hungry.
Yeah. It's funny. Peanut butter is my downfall. I mean, I am a peanut butter whore. I love me some peanut butter. It's bad. It's so bad because it's high in calories, and it's not bad for you, but it's high in calories. So I have to be very careful with it. But that is something I consider a treat. So, I love peanut butter.
Well, here's the thing now, Leah, because this chat is going so well, but I feel like it can go one way or the other with this very next question. But what the hell? I'm going to give it a shot. And if we screw it up, we screwed it up. If not, it's fine. Crunchy or smooth?
Oh, smooth.
Where is this hang up? Where is this hang up button? Where is this hang up button at?
I don't dislike crunchy. I do like it if it's by itself, I like it. But like on a peanut butter and jelly or something like that, I'd rather have smooth. But I can eat just peanut butter. The crunchy peanut butter I can eat with a spoon. You know why
I like the crunchy? Because I feel like I'm almost doing like what I've always called like my hacks. Like I'm hacking this, I'm hacking that. I'm like, for me, crunchy peanut butter is like a hack because I feel like I'm actually getting more, even though the tablespoon, as long as I stick to the tablespoon, the calorie amount is right around very similar. So I feel like I'm getting more. So it tricks my brain like, hey, big man, you're getting a little bit more to eat there. And it's really not having it's not having a bad effect on me.
That's true. I haven't thought of it like that, but yeah, that's true.
See?
I eat have you have the peanut butter fit or the PB fit, the powdered peanut butter?
No, I never had that.
So the powdered peanut butter, I'll have to send you a picture if you're not familiar, but it has more than half. Let's see. I think it's 70 calories for 2 tablespoons versus like the general, I guess you could say 190 calories.
Right.
Whereas regular peanut butter is, but then you get the powder and you just mix it with water until it's the consistency that you want it to be. And I mean, there's no difference. It's not any different than getting it from a jar.
No kidding.
That's what's insane to me. So like when I put it in a smoothie, I don't mix it up. I pour the powder in the smoothie. Tastes amazing. I love chocolate and peanut butter together. I'm not even a chocolate person, but I love chocolate and peanut butter.
What kind of smoothies are you making? I want to incorporate those more, but I guess another part of it's being lazy to make them. So what's your smoothie game looking like?
So I use a plant-based protein.
Right.
And almond milk. I just do a cup of almond milk. The plant-based protein, whichever. The one that I have now is by Koss. I'm sure you've seen ads for it on, well, I don't know. I follow plant-based stuff, so I see them all the time. But
right.
It's very good stuff. Or just, whatever, your peanut or your protein pick, but either 1 or 2 scoops of that, and then I do the peanut butter in it, and then I add a little bit of ice. Another one that I do is I call it peanut butter and jelly. So I do strawberries, like frozen strawberries with the milk, protein powder, and then I add peanut butter to it. It seriously tastes like a strawberry peanut butter and jelly. It's so good.
Oh, that's amazing. Yeah, strawberry and peanut butter jelly, that's actually when we go to peanut butter and jelly, that's my move right there. I do like grape, but somewhere along the line, so my mother, she would always make it with grape and it was fine. I liked it, but when I got into my adult life, I'm like, what's this strawberry taste like on there? And it was like a whole new freaking world.
It is. It so is. But you should try that smoothie because it's really good.
I want to get into smoothies, period. I'm too damn lazy with them. I need to get on that game.
Yeah, I'm trying to add. So sometimes I'll have one for breakfast. That's usually what I'll do is that or some oatmeal right now. But having, like, today I had one for breakfast, and then or yesterday, and then I had one for lunch as well. But yeah, I don't know. I have a hard time with, these people are like, they put like 10, 15 things in there. I'm like, I just want something simple. So, sometimes I'll add like spinach in it just to have that additional nutrient, but because you can't taste the spinach or the kale.
All
If you put
right.
it in there, you can't taste it. It's going to taste like whatever made it with, but, it just isn't as pretty.
Yeah. Is it filling though? At least that's what I always worry about.
Yeah. I feel like, when I have a smoothie in the morning, I'm fuller. I'm full for longer
Right.
than when I have like the oatmeal.
Okay. Okay. So what you make them really thick, or do you like more of the runny stuff, or?
I do in between. If it's too thick, I guess if it's too icy,
Yeah.
it takes away from the flavor if you're just adding ice. But if it was like frozen strawberries, you don't have to put ice in it because you've got the frozen strawberries, and that tends to thicken it up, and then then you don't have to have that. But I'm like you, I'm trying to add more into it, where I do like just the fruit smoothies and not so much about the indulging in the chocolate and the peanut butter.
Yeah, no, my go-to has always been, and I know my wife, when she hears this as she's driving to work, is going to roll her eyes. The strawberry banana. I love that. She hates that combination. She'll kill me for calling her out, but to me, I love that combination. There's nothing greater for me than a strawberry banana smoothie. Usually I'll go to a place like Robex, because again, lazy Gary, drop $6 down and get my damn big large smoothie, and that thing will replace a meal by itself.
Yeah, that's funny. My wife is in love with strawberry banana, and she doesn't even really try anything else. She just sticks to that strawberry banana. That's just her favorite.
You know what that is? That's a keeper right there. Don't let her go.
She's a keeper.
Yeah, exactly. Well, especially when you mentioned the strawberry banana, I'm already on board. High fives from across the country here. So what? I mean, what?
Easy.
What's that?
I see you can make that strawberry banana. You can make that real easy, and I don't know. I feel like it fills me up longer than the oatmeal does.
You know what? I just need to do a test and see. What my biggest hang up though is, I get jealous. I see all the people on Instagram that are like getting up early and going to work out, because my job is like 35 miles away, so I have to get up like 2 hours beforehand, and I'm up at like 4 o'clock in the morning.
Wow,
and so. I in my mind, I'm like, man, I want to go to the gym in the morning, but if I were to do that, then I got to get up like 2:33, and that's too early. However, I don't want to give up my early hours, because then I get off early. I get off at 3, but when I get off, I'm like, I'm already worn out, and I go to the gym and I crush it. But there are some days where I have those days where I'm just like, ugh, I don't know, it's gonna be a rough day. But I get through it. But yeah, I do get jealous. Sometimes I wanna work out early and get it done with.
It definitely feels good. It definitely. On the weekend, excuse me, on the weekends, we'll usually go early in the morning and we're done. Like, I go early in the morning before we have, my daughter plays soccer, so she's off right now, but she's got, usually has games every Saturday. So it's going to the gym early in the morning, then coming back and getting ready, taking your shower. And it's like, I've already gotten up, done my chores, did my gym workout and everything like that. Now I'm ready to start the day. People are just now waking up. It's the best feeling. I love it.
Yeah. Whenever the day comes where my podcast and t-shirt empire has overtaken the day job and I can just focus on that, I'm absolutely getting up at like 5 or 6 in the morning and starting my day with a nice workout. I can tell you that right now.
Yeah. And you're already used to it, so it won't be difficult.
Yeah, no, the weird thing is, like, if I was asked, like, hey, can you work a night shift? I feel like it would be impossible, like, on a regular, consistent basis. I mean, there are people that can absolutely sleep through the day like freaking vampires. I can't do that, and then work all night. There's just no way.
Yeah. It takes a special person to do that. I don't think I could do that either.
Definitely. What kind of field of work are you in?
I don't. I stay at home. So
okay, right on.
Yeah. But I do not, and I know you saw the situation I was putting out there about my son and, him not wanting to go. Well, the reason we wait is because, everybody gets home from school, from work, when everybody gets home, we, tend to go to the gym, but we may start doing morning workouts since I think I'm just going to let him, I guess you could say, off the hook. We're going to have a long talk about it and explain why and all that. But,
Yeah,
yeah.
I didn't go there. I didn't know if you wanted to talk about it, but I think based on our conversation earlier, I think that that's probably the best plan. I mean, ultimately, you got to do what you got to do as a parent. Your son inside and out. But I feel like outside looking in from 300 feet up, I think that that's probably the best scenario is, and I think that this is good advice for anybody going out there. So tell people that, that don't follow you or haven't heard the story, give them the basic of what happened.
So I have a son I have 3 kids. I have a son who's 18. I have a 13-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl. My 13-year-old boy has been very challenging lately when it comes to going to the gym. He's, he gets real mopey and I don't want to go. And so I don't force my 18-year-old to go. He pays for his own membership. That's his own business. If, we're going, if you want to ride along, great. If you don't, then that's fine.
Yep.
And then the little one, she goes, but they have a kids center there. She gets to play basketball and play on computers and all, so she goes and she has fun. But he's like, you don't make the oldest one go. Why do I have to go? And I don't like going. And the thing is, he battles with depression and some anxiety. And I know we've talked about it. A lot of his depression comes from, he says that because he's overweight. And he's expressed that he's wanted to lose weight. And so when we all started going to the gym, I got him a membership and he would go and he would do, his workout. But then I feel like he really dropped off in the summertime.
Right.
In the summertime, he was with his dad for a month, and he was also at camp. And then he went to his grandma's house when he came back home. So he's, kind of all over the place during the summer. And that's where we had our most success, was during that time. So when he comes back, he's kind of like out of the circle. And I think that discouraged him a little bit.
Right.
But we talked about it, and he just tells me, I just don't like going to the gym. I said, do you have anxiety about the gym? Is it other people being there? Like, what is it? I don't know. I just don't like it. And we've even tried classes that he suggested, and we go in there, and I'm telling you, this boy acts like he's dying. He stands back there and he's just got, and then I feel bad because I'm like, these people probably think I'm just forcing this kid to be here.
No, I hear you.
But yeah, I mean, and that's not the case. I mean, yeah, I make him go, but I don't know. So I reached out for advice, and I about 90% of the people that answered me, and I actually got a huge response. They told me, the same thing that I was feeling is, if you make him go, he's going to end up not liking it. If you make him go, I don't want him to resent me, excuse me, to eventually resent me, or to push him to go to the gym to where he actually hates the gym. Like right now, he's just like, oh, I don't really like it. I don't want him to get to where he hates it, or he resents me, or he hates the whole weight loss, thing, all together. I don't want him to have those feelings towards it. So, but you yourself and, one other person told me the same thing, that you've been on the opposite end of that.
Yep.
And that really, really, hit me, because it was nice to hear from the opposite side, because he's, it's like pulling teeth to get any information from him. So it's very nice.
Well,
it's nice to hear that, because it's the opposite side of it. So it helps a lot.
I'll tell you this, and this is goes hand in hand with the advice I gave you earlier, but how I would approach it. And so if there's anybody else out there who's listening that's in a similar situation, if you said to me, Gary, I want to have a talk with my son. How should I do it? This is just my opinion. This is what I would say. So I would walk up to said son or daughter. And, you mentioned before that he's talked to you before about, not feeling comfortable with his weight and whatnot. And
Right.
I think it's such a simple conversation. You sit down and you say, look, I know that, this kind of been an issue here going to the gym, and whatever is on your mind about it, I just want you to know that no matter what, I've got your back. I love you. And when you're ready, when you want to do something, I am here and let's do it. But until then, take your time, figure out how you want to do it, or, whatever that exact word is. I can't speak for you or anybody else, but you just give them that confidence. It's like, hey, I love you. I got your back. And when you want to do something with this, we can do this together. Or, you want to go it alone, you can go it alone. It's up to you. But that's what I know from experience, kind of some of the words of wisdom that I wish I had. And granted, I know that my mother meant well. I'm not in any way shaming her or saying anything bad about her. I just think that, she had that motherly instinct that absolutely you can identify with, where it's like, here's my son, he's in a bad spot. I want to see him healthy. And as a mother or as a father, which I hope to have the pleasure to be a father one day, it's like, I can imagine where you want to, like harp on, well, not harp, maybe harp's a bad word, but just kind of like, hey, all right, let's do something. And you really, really want to help, and you mean well. That's the point. Like, you mean very well, but to the child's eye, because as I've said before, I've been there. It's like, man, it just feels like we're just getting ragged on, even if that's not the case. That's how you feel, and it's like, I'm gonna do it when I feel ready. And I think if you have a similar conversation of that, I can't imagine that goes anything but well.
Yeah. We plan on talking to him tonight. But yeah, one time, or just recently, the other day, I was telling him, I said, you haven't, we were talking about him in the gym, and, we do this workout program that, that Amanda, my wife, and I are doing right now. And, so we brought him into it. Well, he hasn't been to the gym in quite a while, just because, when we go, he has homework or something like that, we just let him take the night off. And so we'll go. So he hasn't been in a little while. Well, he came with us, and we were having to do a plank. That shit's hard. I get it. I'm proud of my 30-second plank, because that's all I can do until I drop.
Right.
But, and push-ups are part of it, knee push-ups. But I mean, I can only do 10 of them. I'm proud of that 10, because I know when I started, I couldn't do 2. Then I've tried to explain to him, you've got to actually push yourself, though. If you're doing your push-ups and you just don't want to do them, so you just stop doing them, that's not really, it's not going to get you anywhere. And so we talked about it, and he got tears in his eyes, and he said, I'm sorry, I'm fat and I can't do this. And I was like, Hayden, that's not what it's about at all. It has nothing to do with that. I'm 20 pounds heavier than him, and I try to tell him, I'm like, look, I do it, and I'm bigger than you. There's people, at the gym. I say, you see all the people out there. There's people out there that are plenty bigger than you. It has nothing to do with your size right now. Yeah. So that really broke my heart.
And plus, he's at such an interesting age too, where you're just kind of getting all these feelings, just how you feel and your outlook on just different things in life. And I could imagine that's kind of just wreaking havoc mentally. I know it was for me around that time, but it's going to come in time. He's going to have a moment where he's going to have either the aha moment, or it's just going to be, he's going to know, okay, I'm ready to do this. He's going to feel confident, and you're right there. Maybe not so much in his face with it, but like, he knows that you're there, you got his back, and can accomplish anything. I think that's the part too. It's like, I think even no matter what age, like, as a boy, it's kind of like, oh, mom's trying to, help me out with this, I'm a man, I can do it, and
Yep.
there's just something to be said for that. I think it's just it's a manly thing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, he's got puberty going on. He's got, friends, and he's got all that stuff, so I mean, I get it. It's just hard being on the other side, like watching,
Definitely.
But I mean, he's a big kid though. It's not just that he's overweight. He's 5'9.5". He's tall. He's not even in high school yet. So, I mean, I know that he's got more growing to do. And so I do. I just hope that he has that moment and he comes to me and wants my help.
Yeah.
But I mean, I do everything I can now while he's here with me. He eats well. He eats healthy. So, I mean, that's as long as I'm doing that, I feel like I'm doing everything that I can. I just need to give him some space. Let him
Definitely.
figure it out.
Hell, you could even show him some of this DDP yoga. Was he a wrestling fan at all, or DDP, the ex-wrestler?
No.
Oh, okay. I was about to say that might have been a connection. I'll tell you what, though. I mean, obviously you've heard the show I did with Vance. What was that, about 2 weeks ago now? He has a great story. There's another story that I first saw when I first found out about it. The Arthur Borman guy, the parachute jumper that he could walk only with crutches, and then by the time it was all said and done, he was running, and that was an incredible story.
Yes, I've seen that. That's incredible.
Yeah, so maybe you just have one of those videos on in the background and he walks in the room. I don't know. Maybe you're just like, whoa, hey, hold on a second there. That's interesting.
Yeah.
That's what I'll do sometimes. Sometimes I, throw on one of these videos that something I want somebody to watch, like a cool, I don't know, like a YouTube video or a music video or something. I'll just like cut it on and then, wife or somebody, oh, hey, what's that? And then you kind of have their intention for a moment, and it's kind of a fun little trick.
Yeah. Your wife's adorable, by the way.
Oh, thank you. She is the best.
I love when you have her on there.
Yeah, I enjoy it too. I always felt like she could if she wanted to, she could have her own damn podcast, because she could, she's got the gift of gab for sure.
Yeah. She cracks me up. She reminds me of myself. When she talks about the depression and, that one that y'all had where she just opened up to you, and
oh yeah, that was a good one.
Everybody cry. But yeah, she does, and she cusses like Taylor, and I love it because I have the worst potty mouth. I'm being very good tonight, but I have the worst potty mouth.
Well, you blew it the first 2 minutes. I have to put the explicit tag up anyway. You might as well before we wrap it up, you might as well say at least one more thing bad.
I did.
There you go. So, well, I got to tell you, this has been a lot of fun getting on here and chatting it up. And I have to tell you, you did the podcast with Daryl, and I deliberately held out on it because I wanted, when we talked, to be like the first time that I'm hearing any of this stuff. Cause I'm sure some of the stuff was shared, but that's one of the things, when I say like, I haven't talked to the people that I talked to. I mean, obviously we've talked DMs, but like, getting your full story, I held out on some of that stuff because I wanted to hear it for the first time. So, just get it out there. Yeah. Yeah. It's just put another interesting spin on it.
Yeah.
So, how we wrap these things up when you're looking in that crystal ball. I'm sure you have a crystal ball just laying around, or we can pretend, because this is podcasting and nobody will know if you're holding one in your hand or not. When you look in that future, I mean, what do you see?
So, I think, my goals weight-wise, I have about 80 more pounds to go. And then I want to look at where I'm at that point. But I plan on, when I did this time, it was a lifestyle change. It's not a diet. It's not, just to lose weight. This is to become healthier. So my ultimate goal is to make sure that my family, not just myself, but that my family is happy and healthy as well. Like my 9-year-old, my boys, they grew up, they'd have little skinny phases, and then they'd get a little chunky, and then they'd grow and they'd be skinny again. So my goal for her is to not ever have to deal with what myself and the boys have had to deal with. Because I just don't want her to ever have to have, have that struggle, because it's hard.
Definitely is.
I just really feel, yeah. But yeah, that's my goal, is for us to all be happy and healthy, and to make this a lifestyle change, and to continue to live this way. And eventually I would love to do like what you and Daryl do, maybe a podcast, or, talking to different people. I'd like to grow my Instagram, just because I'd like more contacts,
Sure.
just to discuss things back and forth. I say I'm new to Instagram. I'm not really new. I'm just now finding certain things on there, though, but I've been on there since about March or so. But yeah, I would just love to have contact with more people in the same situation.
Well, I'll tell you the best way to grow that, because I know, a lot of people think, well, I need to have, 10,000 followers to do that. You know what? I found the best way is I just reach out to complete strangers, and I don't give a damn if they follow me back or not. I just reach out to complete strangers, find people on, similar paths, and just drop them a little love in the DMs or in the comments or something. And you can carry out some of your best conversations going that route. Yeah.
Yeah.
So that's how I feel about it. For me, it's not about, ultimately you want to have, you want to have a lot of eyeballs on what you're doing, because, you can share your experiences and it can help others. But I found that reaching out and trying to get a hold of people has been the best way. It's always worked for me over the years, whether that was Instagram and MySpace and Friendster, whatever social media platform we're talking about. That was the way to do it right there.
Yeah.
And
I know Daryl has his podcast, his, almost daily podcast. It's funny because I'm like, I always have something to listen to, because he releases something almost every day. But I love how he just puts out these, 5, 10, 15-minute podcasts. They're just, just little, like, it's like a thought for the day, I guess you could say. Like, I don't know. I just love it. I listen to him every day. That's how I start my day. And then of course on Wednesdays, I get to listen to yours. So, but, how he talks all the time about just starting it. You just got to start it. Just do it. Don't matter. It doesn't matter how many people are listening. Just get it done. And I tell myself, get it done. Like, let's do this.
That's right. No, that's right. That's how you got to do it.
Yeah.
So speaking of the Instagram, tell people where they can find you.
At 300 to life.
How'd you arrive at that name?
Because I was a little over 300 pounds when I first started my Instagram.
Right.
And I'm trying to gain life. So
there it is. It's as simple as that. I don't know. I like to ask anyway, even if it's just a simple.
Yeah, no. Some of them are interesting. Some of the things that people come up with, they're real clever.
Well, I know fat girl fed up. That's pretty damn clever.
Yeah. Yeah.
Reduced fat mama. Her. That's a good one.
Yep. Yep.
Let's see who else has a good one. Dump the rump. I like that.
That's cute. I haven't heard that, but I like Gym of the Gym. I think that's cute.
Yes, that is very really good.
Cute.
Let's see.
I like her personality and everything. She's awesome. So
A Shred Happens. That's another amazing one.
Yes, that one's pretty cool too. Yeah, and when I was setting this up, I was brand new to Instagram, so I'm like, what is this name for? Like, what am I doing this for? Like, yeah, so I had no idea. So I just came up with it.
Well, no, it's good. It's catchy. It's you're surprised when you hear a name like that. You're surprised somebody else doesn't already have it.
Yeah.
It is very unique. It stands out.
Yeah, that's good.
Well, I had a blast. Would you believe that we've gone nearly an hour and a half? Would you believe that?
That's awesome.
Yeah.
It was nice to finally talk to you. Yeah, we've DM'd and stuff, but I was kind of fangirl earlier, like, oh my gosh, I'm going to talk to Gary.
Well, there you go. We're here now. It was an absolute blast. I always love that. You talk to somebody for so long, and then you get on the phone with them and you just chat, and this is what comes out. This is natural. It's, it's raw. And it's natural. And that's what I love. And unfortunately, Skype has some issues at time or two. So I apologize to people for the first maybe 15 minutes or so, a little shaky. I'm going to do some editing magic. And then you might be like, well, Gary, what the hell were you talking about? Cause I didn't hear a thing. And we're going to try to tweak it up a little bit, but, yeah, no, I love it. I love the unique, conversation. First time ever. This was a good one.
Yes. I had a lot of fun. Thank you so much for having me.
Want to take a moment to thank my Patreon podcast producers, Daryl at Your Level Fitness, Amy at Gym of the Gym, GEM of the GYM, for supporting the show, helping us to grow further. And if you want to help out, the best way is to join me over on Patreon, patreon.com/Gary Cantrell. That is patreon.com/GaryCantrell. I try to say that really fast, and I hope I didn't have a typo there, but you can donate as little as $1. And if you donate as little as $4, you can get this podcast early and ad free. $20 will get you a free t-shirt. $50 is a one-on-one call with me once a month. This is the way to support the show. Patreon, the money goes directly to me, and then I take it and put it directly back in this show. Mentioned Skype problems. Eventually, I want to get to the point where I'm traveling the country and just meeting these people in person. That's what I want to do. And with your help, I can reach that goal. If we can reach like $5,000 or $6,000 a month, I can take this thing on the road and just start traveling and talking to people in person, face to face, which is going to end up being a better quality podcast for you guys. It's one of the things I want to do. Eventually, I want to make this thing video. So many different things that I want to offer, but even for $1, we can get started today. Patreon.com/Gary Cantrell. But check out my Patreon producers. They are amazing. I want to thank them, and I want to thank you. You made it this far. That means you're awesome. You're checking out the show. Thank you guys so much for hanging out, and I'll see you guys next week. Thanks for listening.
Let me tell you guys about hardworkalwayswins.com. It's not just a clothing line. It's my mantra. I speak it, I wear it, I live it, and I want you guys to rep it today. Join the squad. We got t-shirts, we got beanies, we got hats, we got tank tops, hoodies, phone cases, you name it, we got it. Just in the store as of this week. I am worth the fight. Are you worth the fight? Damn right you're worth the fight. So get the shirt and show everybody what's up. We got Fight Like Hell for the Life You Want. We got the 4 pillars. We got the original OG Hard Work Always Wins shirt in many different designs. All you got to do is head over to hardworkalwayswins.com, enter the code SQUAD at checkout, and I'm going to take 10% off your very first order. That's right. I'm doing that. I went there. So go to the store, check it out, find what you want, add that code SQUAD at checkout, and join the Hard Work Squad today.